paying attention a lot to the conversations online and obviously reading our own comment sections. And of course, we've discussed Les Seraphim's sort of Coachella performance. And something that kept getting sent to us was sort of Illit's encore performances. Encore performances are really interesting because they're not usually the most disciplined performances, because there's a lot of emotions, there's a lot of celebratory moments. You won, in a Korean music show. That's huge. But it seems that there's something going on, and there's something specifically wrong in HYBE when it comes to, it seems, mainly with girl groups, which is really interesting. Or at least that's what the conversation is online. We've had a look at sections of the illit encore, because it got sent to us so much on TikTok.
It was going viral so hard.
Not for the right reasons, as you all know. And then they've just won, I think the sort of nominees or something was like Baby Monster, illit, and then they won, which is obviously, they must be pulling insane bloody numbers, because Baby Monster also came out with a ton of umph. And they are part of the same generation, right? Very, very new. So you sort of see also how different labels approach vocal training. I guess we know people off those teams, but not specifically of, Baby Monster or illit. But we do get an insight onto what the vocal training looks like on both of them. And HYBE seems to always focus on a couple of things as a whole brand, or at least this is our understanding of it. There's a reason why they're the biggest dog in the park at the moment, or one of their biggest, and is streamable music is number one.
Yeah, they have prioritized the listening experience of music for K-pop since the release of New Jeans with Adore. So it has changed the whole marketing perspective of music.
When it comes to studio music and so streamable music, the music you put your headphones on and you hear it, and it's very well polished, compressed, equalized to it's nuts, mixed, fantastic, and everyone's very clear.
It's a great listening experience.
Fantastic. I mean, you're a fan, I presume, or a lot of people are. So illit is another example of that. That song Magnetic, an incredible listening experience actually when you're reviewing the music video, when you're watching the music video, when you're just sort of repeating it, doing the dances and stuff like that. This type of music lacks in two things. Number one, not the best live music experiences for the vocalists. For the choreography is great. For actually the fans, if they don't really care that much that there may be a ton of splits, favorable to the tracks.
Or a lot of vocal chops. I think what happens with this song, personally, my of this, is that it's heavy used in terms of there's a lot of vocal chopping, where you take sections of the songs and they are purposely chopped up to sound electronic, to sound out of focus. And that's incredibly difficult to replicate in a live environment.
Well, what ends up happening is stuff like this. God bless them. They were so happy. Also, here they don't get in-ear monitoring, right?
No.
And she can't hear, so. Okay, so that's like a really interesting section of the song, right? If you ever want to know if the song will sort of struggle live, just naturally, this happens all across pop, not just in K-pop. Lower ranges stuff, immensely difficult to translate well live.
Also, you have to take into consideration that the structure of sound engineering for this part of the award shows is
it's fucked.
There is no in-ear monitoring. There's fallbacks on the floor. There is amplification on the stage, and they're hearing some of that, but there's
fallbacks are just like speakers, that show you what you sound like.
They're facing the performer, but they actually don't have you don't have the detail of in-ear, so you don't hear the details of your voice. Also, there's no splits on the mics, there are no layers to the track.
And it seems like they equalize as speech mics.
Correct.
It's really weird.
Which I think they are.
Yeah.
So it changes the whole dynamic of the performance.
Yeah, so again, those songs not ideal for live performing. Does it beg the question, which is what everyone's saying, is there seems to be a lack of vocal preparation and vocal training for a lot of these girls, a lot of these girl groups. And actually, ironically enough, in some of the groups, they're not new. They've been in the industry for quite a while. I think Les Seraphim's a good example of that. Some of the members, obviously, Is1 or Izone, I don't know how to pronounce it. They've been around for a while.
Well, the argument that I have seen online with illit is that their lack of preparation as trainees.
Right.
They were
debuted quite early.
6 months into their stuff, and then they were a product. And a lot of that can be argued, of course.
Yeah, for sure, because it also plays a ton to what is, again, management and label heads prioritizing.
Yeah,
because obviously they know, because HYBE is fairly formulaic with their thing, especially when it comes to girl groups.
But this is a label problem. This is not a girl group problem.
It could, for sure. I think this is a label problem. If this was happening with boy groups, we'd be saying the same. But it seems that because they're fairly formulaic and they know what's sort of working, they're repeating their formula, they're trying different things, they're tweaking things here and now, but they want to pump it out quick. So then it's obviously working because they're bloody winning. Yes. The problem is, like I've always said, and you guys have to take this with, you have to understand our perspective, which is we're live music purists. If the song actually in studio, this is just how we are, perhaps a bit weird. If the song in studio is alright, like the streamable song is meh, but then we listen to it live and it bangs, like that to us is better, because the vice versa is worse, which is like the song's great in the studio, but then it sucks live. The disappointment you feel is horrible. And we've reviewed a ton of concerts and get invited to a lot of these events that you sit there and then you're sort of making notes and you're listening and stuff and you're like, oh bloody hell.
Yeah.
Oh no. You know, and here's the thing, especially in Korean pop, Japanese pop, C-pop, anything to do with pop, this is not their fault, man. Like, and then it's tough because here's what I got to notice, and I don't know if I'm sort of imagining shit, but you see them now in their latest win. Huge congrats. Huge on the girls, yeah? They've been working hard. There's no sleep, mate. The sleep schedules these girls are on are nuts. And then this happens, right? Time to perform. So they've given them ideas, it seems. And now a ton more discipline, right? Less jumpy, less singing around, less excitement. We're on, yeah? So they must have had the chat.
Yeah. They're just trying to focus to hear themselves.
Oh, tough then.
See, and now they're not.
And now that you know that bit in the previous one that was like, oh, that's just rough. That's the vocal chopping that Valeska's talking about. That never works live. So guess what you do? Let the track be the track.
It doesn't even have it.
She's actually so enamored by that.
Yeah, she's like, oh my god, I'm holding this.
Oh wow, she's going on.
Yes, so here there is a lot more.
It's a huge focus here in this performance.
Performance is the focus here, and I think it's gone from you guys had a great time, you celebrated, now you're focusing on the whole image situation.
Yeah. I mean, again,
it takes away some of the fun, but
and it's also like tough for the girls because those meetings are not fun. You cannot imagine what those meetings are like.
Imagine getting called to the principal's office. It kind of is like that.
It's worse, mate. It's worse because there's so much money involved. There's so much investment involved. There's so much reputation involved. There's investors, stocks, bollocks. It's just nuts.
That hurt, bro.
Funny enough as well, like I'm just reading the comments here. Again, we can only read the comments of however, and this is not representative of how everyone feels. Correct. But like, it's interesting how people feel like, oh, Korean fans always neglect YG. No, I wouldn't feel like that because YG has made some of their biggest, because obviously Baby Monster lost, I guess. It's just, I think the impact that Magnetic has had, it's like a bit higher on the socials than.
I think it has had a bigger spread in terms of like because HYBE has it down, and here is the part where it takes a lot of market research because they already have tested the formulas with new jeans, and it has proven to be infallible. Like every time they put it out, it works, and then obviously illit is part of that umbrella, so they're gonna repeat that formula that works only for them. And YG does YG things, and that's what they're known for.
So Sheesh is like doing really well globally.
It is. I'm sure the numbers are incredible.
Because that is essentially their debut, right? Because before they didn't debut with all members. So it's like the K-pop girl group debuts on Spotify Global. It's 1.7 million. The other one was Twice I Got You.
They're doing fantastic. And I just think in terms of streamability and accessibility of listening experience, HYBE and the whole umbrella of HYBE has at the upper hand.
You know what's interesting as well? Like, it's really competitive at the moment because if you look at, for example, Again, I'm not a big fan of the whole competition between groups. It obviously naturally happens because there is winners, right? But like if you look at like Baby Monster, for example, something that YG has done, which is very much new, there's been a huge focus in like vocal prowess and vocal refinement. It's still formulaic because it is YG and he knows what works. Obviously, he's had some of the biggest groups ever. But Big Bang, 21, Blackpink, in my opinion, they were always much more of a live music experience rather than vocal purists. They weren't. You did not just watch G-Dragon for his vocals. It was much more. G-Dragon is much more than just a singer. It was a personality. It was the fashion. It's the dance. It's who he is. It's a persona. And then the voice. Taeyang, same thing, right? Like, it wasn't just a wedding dress and then he's just great. It wasn't just what is that song?
Lips, mouth, whatever, eyes, nose,
lips. It isn't just that. It's the shirtlessness, it's the physique, it's the dancing ability. So that's what YG is the best at, creating a product. HYBE is very much outstanding at creating group products and packaging them really fast. So that begs the question: is like,
it's just, I think they have an upper hand in the internet. They have something.
Yeah, they have something fucking going on.
Something else going on, and I don't think they have prioritized the vocal training for the groups. As much.
It's also unfair. I don't know if it's actually fair. Obviously, we're talking through our thoughts here as well because it's super interesting to see what everyone has to say. But it's also fairly unfair to say it's a HYBE issue, because if it was a HYBE issue, all the boy groups will also be suffering for this, but they haven't really had that many debutant boy groups, I guess. Because like if you look at TXT's latest comeback, that's like one of the best comebacks of the year.
Yeah,
so far. Deja Vu, that shit bangs, bro.
It is a great. I'm still yet to see a live performance where it's raw that I'm like,
oh, TXT.
Okay. I'm hearing something.
I'd love to see them live and review that concert live. Obviously, there's other labels, right? Like SM, they are known historically for their tightness, toughness, and unbelievable ability at creating world-class singers. So I don't ever presume this would be an issue with someone like that.
But here's the thing. Here's my thoughts. Again, I'm just talking through my perspectives.
Yeah.
And please be part of the conversation in the comments below. But I personally think because of the rise of the TikTok era, the short content era, the being a vocal pro, being like an absolute specialist or like an absolute belt or something has run its course. Like, that is not what is trending anymore.
Yeah.
And I think obviously the short content platform has prioritized a different kind of like sound and obviously a different focus, a different demand, and that's what this new generation of studio music it's bringing to the table. And that's why I think it's a difficult conversation to have.
Here's the question I pose, because I feel we are right now in a really tricky era, just live music overall. I think it's the weakest it's ever been, worldwide. It isn't just a Korean pop problem, it's just worldwide. There's specific industries where this isn't an issue, but there's a ton of them where it is, especially the biggest ones.
Yes.
So live music is at an all-time low because studio music is at an all-time high. In K-pop, it seems at the moment some of the most popular groups are also unfortunately falling into that category, which is a big shame, because one of the reasons why we decided to start reviewing Korean pop and getting involved in that industry is because they were doing things, they were triple threats essentially. They were training these individuals, and they're outstanding dancers, outstanding singers, outstanding stage performers, and then obviously the market sets the demand. So if the market is saying, you guys are the market, by the way, oh, that's shit, or that's not good, that's below par, that's not the standard, and it starts to become a recurrent theme, and it's obviously undeniable in some of these moments. It's like, what the fuck is the next step to fix this? And to me, it seems fairly forward. Just heavy training, mate. Heavy training. There is no need to pump out the machine. Of course, other executives and stuff like that would be like, shut up, you dick.
What do you know?
Go back to your studio.
Literally, what do you know?
But in my opinion, it would be like, why not refine, the vocals?
Because I think
why
it's
not
run its
jump
course.
up the standard again?
It's run its course.
Who knows?
We'll see what happens.
Let us know what you guys thought about it, and goodbye.